While climate change and rising sea levels dominate discussions about the future of coastal cities, a less publicized but equally alarming phenomenon is literally causing the ground beneath our feet to sink. This process, known as subsidence, is occurring at an alarming rate in many urban areas around the world, often outpacing sea level rise and exacerbating the risk of flooding and infrastructure damage. At the heart of this issue lies our insatiable demand for water, particularly groundwater, which is being extracted at unsustainable rates in many regions. Understanding subsidence. Subsidence refers to the gradual sinking or settling of the Earth's surface. While this can occur naturally due to geological processes, human activities have significantly accelerated and intensified this phenomenon in urban areas. The primary culprit? The excessive extraction of groundwater to meet the needs of growing populations and industries. The mechanics of subsidence. To understand how groundwater extraction leads to subsidence, we need to look beneath the surface. Aquifers. These are layers of porous rock or sediment that can hold and transmit groundwater. Water pressure. The water in aquifers helps support the weight of the overlying soil and rock. Extraction. When groundwater is pumped out faster than it can be naturally replenished, the water pressure decreases. Compaction. Without the support of water pressure, the aquifer materials, especially fine sediments, can compress and collapse. Surface sinking. As the aquifer compresses, the ground above it sinks, leading to subsidence at the surface. The scale of the problem. Recent studies have revealed the alarming extent of urban subsidence. A 2022 study examined 99 coastal cities worldwide using interferometric synthetic aperture radar (NSAR) data. 33 of these cities have areas sinking by over 10 millimeters per year. This rate is 5 times faster than the current global average sea level rise due to climate change. Approximately 1.2 billion people live in areas prone to high subsidence rates. Hotspots of subsidence. While subsidence affects cities globally, some regions are particularly vulnerable. Asia, home to some of the fastest sinking cities, with Jakarta, Indonesia, experiencing subsidence rates up to 28 centimeters per year in some areas. North America. The San Joaquin Valley in California has seen the ground sink by up to 9 meters since the 1920s due to agricultural groundwater extraction. Europe. Many coastal cities are experiencing subsidence, though generally at slower rates than in Asia. Consequences of urban subsidence. The impacts of subsidence extend far beyond the gradual sinking of land. Increased flood risk. As land sinks, it becomes more vulnerable to flooding from rivers, storm surges, and rising sea levels. Infrastructure damage. Shifting ground can damage building foundations, roads, bridges, and underground utilities like water and sewer systems. Economic costs. Repairing and adapting infrastructure to cope with subsidence can be extremely expensive for cities and homeowners. Environmental changes. Subsidence can alter local ecosystems, particularly in coastal areas where it may lead to saltwater intrusion into freshwater aquifers. Social impacts. In extreme cases, subsidence can lead to displacement of communities and loss of cultural heritage sites. Measuring and monitoring subsidence. Advances in technology have revolutionized our ability to detect and measure subsidence. Interferometric synthetic aperture radar, NSAR. INSAR is a satellite-based technology that has become crucial in monitoring ground movement. How it works. Satellites bounce radar pulses off the Earth's surface. The returning signals are recorded and compared over time. Changes in the return time of these signals indicate ground movement. Precision. INSAR can detect movements as small as a few millimeters. This allows for early detection of subsidence trends before visible damage occurs. Coverage. Satellites can monitor vast areas, providing a comprehensive view of subsidence patterns across entire cities and regions. Causes of urban subsidence. While groundwater extraction is the primary driver of urban subsidence, other factors can contribute. Groundwater extraction, the most significant cause globally, driven by urban population growth and increased water demand, often exacerbated by inefficient water management and distribution systems. Building weight. The sheer mass of urban structures can contribute to subsidence. For example, New York City's buildings weigh an estimated 764 billion kilograms. However, This is generally a minor factor compared to groundwater extraction. Natural geological processes. Some areas are naturally prone to subsidence due to their underlying geology. This can be exacerbated by human activities. Oil and gas extraction. While not as common in urban areas, this can cause significant subsidence in some regions. Strategies to address urban subsidence. Tackling urban subsidence requires a multifaceted approach. Regulating groundwater extraction. Implementing and enforcing stricter regulations on groundwater pumping. Example: Jakarta introduced tighter regulations in 2010 and 2023, slowing subsidence rates. Developing alternative water sources. Investing in water infrastructure to reduce reliance on groundwater. Example: Jakarta aims to provide piped water to all residents by 2030. Managed aquifer recharge. Pumping water back into aquifers to replenish groundwater and potentially reverse subsidence. Example: Perth, Australia, lifted the ground by 20 millimeters over 3.5 years using this technique. Improving water efficiency. Implementing water conservation measures and technologies to reduce overall demand. Urban planning and building codes. Developing regulations that consider subsidence risk in urban development. Implementing building techniques that can withstand some ground movement. Continuous monitoring. Using NSAR and other technologies to track subsidence and inform decision-making. Case studies. Examining specific cities can provide insights into both the challenges and potential solutions. Jakarta, Indonesia. Issue: some areas were sinking up to 28 centimeters per year. Action: introduce stricter groundwater regulations in 2010 and 2023. Result: subsidence slowed to about 20 millimeters per year in most areas by 2020. Ongoing challenges: unlicensed pumping and the need to provide alternative water sources. Coachella Valley, California, USA. Issue: sank over 0.5 meters between 1995 and 2010. Action: switched partially to Colorado River water. Result: subsidence slowed by 50 to 75%. Ongoing challenges: sustainability of Colorado River water use. New York City, USA. Issue: sinking at 1 to 2 millimeters per year, exacerbated by the weight of buildings. Challenge: while the rate is lower than many cities, the high population and valuable infrastructure make even slow subsidence a concern. Future outlook and challenges. Addressing urban subsidence is crucial for the long-term sustainability and resilience of coastal cities. However, several challenges remain. Water scarcity. Finding alternative water sources in water-stressed regions is increasingly difficult. Cost. Implementing large-scale water infrastructure and subsidence mitigation projects is expensive. Climate change. Rising sea levels and changing precipitation patterns may complicate efforts to address subsidence. Population growth. Continued urban growth puts pressure on water resources and infrastructure. Awareness and policy. Many regions lack awareness of subsidence risks or the political will to address them. Conclusion: urban subsidence represents a significant, but often overlooked threat to coastal cities worldwide. As our ability to detect and measure this phenomenon improves, the urgency of addressing it becomes increasingly clear. The rates at which many cities are sinking far outpace sea level rise, adding a critical dimension to urban planning and climate adaptation strategies. Addressing this challenge will require a combination of technological innovation, policy changes, and public awareness. From regulating groundwater use to implementing innovative solutions like managed aquifer recharge, cities have a range of tools at their disposal. However, the success of these efforts will depend on coordinated action from governments, businesses, and communities. As we continue to grapple with the impacts of climate change, it's crucial that we don't lose sight of the ground beneath our feet. By taking action to address urban subsidence, we can build more resilient cities capable of withstanding the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. The future of our coastal urban centers may well depend on our ability to stop them from sinking before they start to swim.